There's a lot of things in this world that I love, right? Like money, a drug. No, I don't do drugs. Don't do drugs. Games. Well, games being a big one of them. And I came here today to talk about the Last of Us show, which is based on the game, and it's been absolutely amazing so far. Now, The Last of Us is a game that came out back in June 2013. It follows the story of a guy named Joel and Ellie and their journey across the entire U.S. in this post-zombie apocalyptic world. I don't really want to say more because it's pretty much just like all spoilers if I say anything. But if you haven't heard of it, which you probably have, every person and their mother has heard of Last of Us. If you haven't, then you're probably living under a rock. But no, I'm sorry, it's fine. But they recently decided to make a show based off of the game, and I wanted to hold off on making this video for a while, or at least until like the show is partway through. But now that we are 4 episodes in, I think there's enough new material to work with where it's not to a point where I can look down the road in like a month and say, damn, I really I regret making that video. The show turned out really bad, but I think we're 4 episodes in now, and I think there's enough to kind of talk about it and give my thoughts on it, and what I think is going to happen in the future, and where it goes next. Now, first off, I want to say the show is not a one-to-one adaptation of the game. I think that would be pretty boring if they did like a complete one-to-one like live action adaptation of the game, which they didn't do that in this case, and I'm really glad they didn't, because what Neil Druckmann has done with the entire like production crew is they've taken pretty much like the foundation of the original story, and they've changed enough to make it feel new, but they haven't changed it too much to a point where the story is completely unrecognizable like a lot of other game to any form of like show adaptations that I've heard of. And I also want to touch on this before we head into more of I'm also going to talk about spoilers like later in the video. I will give like a fair warning when those come, but I want to talk about the actors in here. The actors are absolutely amazing. Pedro Pascal for playing Joel, and Bella Ramsey for Ellie. They're absolutely doing it like they're doing an amazing job playing Joel and Ellie. I don't think there's any other person. I haven't watched a lot of shows or movies myself, but I think that there isn't a better fit than Pedro Pascal for Joel. He's done an absolutely like amazing job, like hands down. Like if Joel was in real life, this is Joel right here. Like this is like the complete like embodiment of Joel. And for Ellie, I mean, Bella did an amazing job. Now let's get into more of the action and production side. Action, absolutely fucking amazing. There is one scene where this isn't really spoilers, so I'll say it, but there's one scene where they're in a museum and they come in there and they're like looking around, and there's these clickers from the game, and I mean they look absolutely amazing. They look just like in the game. Well, maybe my memory doesn't serve me too well, but I mean they're amazing. There's just one scene where they're like screaming into like the camera, and it just looks absolutely amazing. And then there's all like combat with them. They really do a good job with kind of getting the point across that the clickers are a certain way, and I love that. I can only imagine to see what comes next, because they've teased some stuff in the latest episode here. I'm not going to say, but if you've seen it, you've seen it. All right, so for this next part, I'm going to start talking about the show and all the original stuff. So here's the foretold spoiler warning. So if you have not seen the show and you don't want to hear anything about the first 4 episodes, just click off right now, go watch the show, and then come back here. Now, first off, the prologue, which is the part where, right before in the past, and 20 years ago, right? This part, absolutely fucking amazing. I believe this is actually in some ways, in a lot of ways, actually, it is way better than the game, because it feels like in the game they really have to like get it past quick, because they don't really have much time to kind of build it up. But in the show, they've completely thrown all of that out of the window completely. It still touches on a lot of the same notes as the game, of course, because it's an adaptation after all. But you get these little moments where it's kind of like teased, like, and you learn a lot more about like Joel at the start, and his daughter, his old daughter, Sarah. And you really get like it feels like a movie in and of itself in only 30 minutes. Like you can feel them like bond way better in the show than in the game. Like it's like I think the scene or the entire like prologue part is only 30 minutes. I could be wrong, but it feels like 30 minutes, but I mean it is 30 minutes, but it feels like 2 hours. Like they get so much across that it's just absolutely like amazing. You learn a lot more from the show than the game. Another change that's also different from the game is with Bill. Bill actually has, instead of just being like this hillbilly guy in like a town that sets up traps and like it kills zombies, now in the show he's not directly like seen in the present, but he has an entire episode worth of like backstory. And I think this like entire episode's worth of backstory is like it's told absolutely like amazingly. You get like this you get to learn about like Bill's backstory and his entire relationship with what was his name? Frank. And by the end you feel like you've aged like along with them like while watching it. It's just that part was also really nice. And yeah, those are just two of many changes that they've made between the game and the show's adaptation of it. But the changes are absolutely welcome. It's not always amazing to have like a one-to-one adaptation of something. I feel like it's just boring if you're retelling the exact same story. So I'm glad they changed it up a bit. I hope they change more in the future, but not to the point where they make it completely like unrecognizable, like apparently what they did with the Halo show, which would be an absolute disaster. Hopefully this video ages well and the show ends up good. If not, then I guess I've got a lot to answer for, right? But yeah, now I'm pretty sure, I mean, 4 episodes probably is enough to gauge the show. Hopefully, I'm making this because I really like it and I think it will age well. And I'm pretty sure they've already greenlit it for a second season as well. I don't know how the second season is gonna go. I hope they pace it better at least. I don't think it was as bad as everyone made it out to be, but I definitely think it was a step down from the first game. I just think the worst part about the second game was the pacing of it. So yeah, with that being said, I hope that the show game Last of Us whatever the fuck adaptation goes well. I'm sure it will. It surely won't have any hiccups, right? And it'll be fine. But yeah, all in all, I'm sure it'll be amazing, and I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, hopefully this video ages well. Oh, please, I hope it ages well. God, dear gaming gods, Neil Druckmann, please age this video well. Do good with the show. But alright, yeah, that's all I wanted to come on here and say today. Definitely check the show out if you haven't seen it. I'll probably make another video when the whole TV show is actually over and encompassing the entire thing. But I really just thought it was good enough to make one, like, preliminarily. Oh, dude, I have a really bad feeling this isn't going to age well. But yeah, alright, I'm going to stop now. Alright, take care, do something you like, and till next time.